There are many features of the object-oriented programming. Let us discuss one by one in detail. The very first one is encapsulation. Now, what is encapsulation? Say we have a program. It has a few logically different objects which communicate with each other according to the rules defined in the program. Encapsulation is achieved when each object keeps its state private inside a class. Other objects don't have direct access to this state. Instead, they can call only a list of public functions called as methods. So the object manages its own state via methods and no other class can touch it unless explicitly allowed. If you want to communicate with the object, you should use the methods provided, but you can't change the state. Let's say we are building a tiny Sims game. There are people and there is a cat. They communicate with each other. We want to apply encapsulation. So we encapsulate all the cat logic into a cat class. You can feed the cat, but you can't directly change how hungry the cat is. So here the state of the cat will be in the private variables like mood, hungry and energy. It will also have a private method meow. It can call it whenever it wants. The other classes can't tell the cat when to meow. What they can do is defined in the public methods sleep, play and feed. Each of them modifies the internal state somehow and may invoke meow. Thus, the binding between the private state and public methods is made. So this is encapsulation. Next concept is inheritance. Do you know what is another problem in the OOP design? Objects are often very similar. They share common logic, but they are not entirely the same. So how do we reuse the common logic and extract the unique logic into a separate class? One way to achieve this is called as inheritance. It means that you create a child class by deriving from another parent class. This way we will form a hierarchy. The child class reuses all the fields and methods of the parent class and it implements its own unique part. For example, a private teacher is a type of teacher and any teacher is a type of person. If our program needs to manage public and private teachers but also other type of people like students, we can implement this class hierarchy. This way, each class adds only what is necessary for it while reusing the common logic with the parent classes. The next concept is polymorphism. We are down to the most complex word. Polymorphism means many shapes in Greek. So we already know the power of inheritance and happily use it. But there comes this problem. Say we have a parent class and a few child classes which inherit from it. Sometimes we want to use a collection, for example a list which contains a mix of all these classes. Or we have a method implemented for the parent class but we would like to use it for the children too. This can be solved by using polymorphism. Simply put, polymorphism gives a way to use a class exactly like its parent, so there is no confusion with mixing types. But each child class keeps its own methods as they are. This typically happens by defining an interface to be reused. It outlines a bunch of common methods, then each child class implements its own version of these methods. Anytime a collection or a method expects an instance of the parent, the language takes care of evaluating the right implementation of the common method, regardless of which the child is passed. So this is the simple explanation of polymorphism. The next concept in the object-oriented programming is abstraction. Abstraction can be thought of as a natural extension of encapsulation. In object-oriented design, programs are often extremely large and separate objects communicate with each other a lot. So maintaining a large code base like this for years, which changes along the way, is difficult. Abstraction is a concept aiming to ease this problem. Applying abstraction means that each object should only expose a high-level mechanism for using it. This mechanism should hide all the internal implementation details. It should only reveal operations relevant for the other objects. Think of a coffee machine. It does a lot of stuff and makes quirky noises under the hood. But all you have to do is put in coffee and press a button. Preferably, this machine should be easy to use and should rarely change over time. Think of it as a small set of public methods which any other class can call without knowing how they work. Another real life example of abstraction is your phone. Cell phones are complex, but using them is simple. You interact with your phone by using only a few buttons, but you don't know what is going under the hood. You don't have to know the implementation details that are hidden. You only need to know a short set of actions. Implementation changes, for example, a software details, a software update, and it rarely affects the abstraction that you use.